Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the offseason is an exciting time full of potential shifts, surprises, and debates about team futures. But one thing that's been really catching the attention of fans and analysts alike is what's happening in the NFC South, particularly with the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, the Falcons aren't just sitting back and waiting for the season to start. They're actively involved in what could be a huge shakeup in their division and even the conference. And I want to take you through all the latest developments, the rumors, the strategic moves, and what it all means for Atlanta's pursuit of another Super Bowl appearance. First, let's set the stage a little. The NFC South has traditionally been a bit of a mixed bag. You've had teams like the New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have seen periods of dominance, but also some inconsistency. The Carolina Panthers have been rebuilding, trying to find their footing after some rough seasons, and the Falcons have been in a bit of a transition themselves, looking to establish a new identity after a few years of ups and downs. But right now, it looks like this division could be on the verge of a real power shift, one that might give Atlanta a real shot at climbing to the top. And I want to talk about one of the biggest stories in that regard, the potential quarterback moves that could reshape the division landscape. Now, we all know that the quarterback position is king in the NFL, and the Falcons have been keenly aware of that. Last offseason, they made a bold move by signing four-time Pro Bowler Kirk Cousins to a massive $180 million contract. The idea was to bring stability and veteran leadership to a team that's been searching for an elite quarterback since Matt Ryan's departure. But as many of you know, Cousins' contract has become a bit of a double-edged sword, especially with his age and the financial commitments involved. Here's where things get really interesting. Reportedly, the Falcons are open to the idea of trading Cousins, especially if it means acquiring a player who could give them a better shot at contending in the near future. And one name that's been floated around a lot in NFL circles is none other than Kirk Cousins' former offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, for their part, are in a bit of a quarterback quandary. Deshaun Watson is currently recovering from a torn Achilles, and their quarterback room is, let's say, quite crowded but also uncertain. Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and the rookies Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are all vying for the starting role, but none has yet proven that they can be a consistent, reliable starter over a full 17-game season. And here's the kicker. Some NFL insiders and analysts believe that Cleveland might be willing to part ways with one of their veteran quarterbacks to make room for a new face in the division. And that face could very well be Cousins. In fact, there's a compelling trade proposal that's been floating around, suggesting that the Browns could send Pickett to Atlanta in exchange for Cousins. The idea is that Cleveland might also include a defensive piece, like reserve tackle Shelby Harris, to sweeten the deal. Now, this isn't just idle speculation, it's rooted in the reality that Flacco and Pickett, while experienced, don't exactly inspire confidence as long-term solutions for a team aiming for Super Bowl contention. Both have their merits, but neither has the ceiling that a veteran like Cousins could bring, especially in a system led by Kevin Stefanski, who knows Cousins' strengths so well. Let's pause here for a moment. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but isn't Cousins getting up there in age? Isn't he expensive? And you're right, he's approaching 37, and his contract isn't exactly cheap. But here's the thing, the Falcons are in a situation where they're trying to maximize their window. They've invested heavily in this roster, especially with young, talented players like tight end Kyle Pitts, receiver Drake London, and a solid offensive line. They want a quarterback who can elevate this group and lead them deep into the playoffs. And that's where Cousins' experience and proven production come into play. Over the years, he's been one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the league, and he's had multiple seasons with over 4,0 passing yards and 30-plus touchdowns. He's also got a knack for coming through in clutch moments, something that can't be underestimated. The potential trade, sending Pickett, or even a draft pick to Cleveland, could be a game-changer for Atlanta. Not only would they get a veteran leader, but they'd also free up cap space, which they could reinvest in other areas of the team. Now, let's talk about the implications. If Atlanta manages to make this move, it would be a clear signal that they're all in on trying to win sooner rather than later. It would also shake up the division. Cleveland would get a promising young quarterback in Pickett, who's shown flashes but needs development, and the Falcons would be getting a seasoned veteran who can step in right away. Meanwhile, Cleveland could be looking at a future where they build around Deshaun Watson or develop their rookies, while Atlanta takes a shot at that playoff run with Cousins leading the charge. But it's not just about the players involved. This potential trade also points to the broader strategy of both teams. Cleveland, under Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry, is clearly trying to find the winning formula after a disappointing 2024 season, where they only managed 3 wins. They've got the talent on paper, but consistency has been elusive, especially at the quarterback position. If they believe Cousins can give them that stability, it makes sense to go all in. For Atlanta, this move could be the final piece of the puzzle to push them over the edge. They've made significant investments on defense with players like Grady Jarrett, and they're building a potent offense with young stars. Bringing in Cousins could be the veteran presence that guides those young receivers and tight ends, helping them mature and perform under pressure. It's a move that says, "We're serious about contending now," and that's exactly the mindset that could propel them to the next level. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. Trades are complex, and there are cap implications, team chemistry considerations, and the ever-present risk of injury. But one thing is for sure, the Falcons are definitely not sitting still. They're actively exploring options to get better, and the possibility of acquiring Cousins is a testament to how ambitious they are this season. And honestly, for us fans, that's incredibly exciting. We want a team that fights, that makes bold moves, and that believes it can compete at the highest level. Looking ahead, the NFL offseason remains a whirlwind of rumors and potential moves. We're also keeping an eye on other teams like the Vikings and Steelers, who might be interested in Cousins as well. The market for veteran quarterbacks is heating up, and Atlanta's willingness to consider a trade shows just how serious they are about optimizing their roster for immediate success. Imagine a scenario where Cousins, in his familiar offense with Kevin Stefanski calling the shots, could be lining up against divisional rivals like the Panthers or Saints. That's the kind of narrative that gets fans fired up. And let's not forget the broader picture. In the NFL, everything is interconnected. A trade like this could set off a domino effect, influencing draft strategies, free agent signings, and even the way teams approach the upcoming season. For Atlanta, it's about more than just one player. It's about positioning themselves as a true contender in the NFC South, a division that's ripe for the taking if the stars align. They've already taken steps to upgrade the roster on both sides of the ball, investing in young talent and coaching staff. Now, adding a seasoned quarterback like Cousins could be the final piece to turn potential into results. As we look at the bigger picture, it's also worth considering how this impacts the Falcons' long-term plans. They've shown a willingness to make bold moves, and their recent contracts and draft choices suggest they're aiming for sustained success. Whether they keep Cousins through a couple of seasons or use him as a bridge while developing their young quarterbacks, the key is that they're not just settling for mediocrity. They're pushing for greatness, and that's what makes this offseason so fascinating for Falcons fans. The prospect of seeing Cousins in the red and black, leading the team with his experience and calm under pressure, is a thrilling thought. Now, I want to bring this full circle. The NFC South is about to get even more interesting, and Atlanta is right in the thick of it. The possibility of a blockbuster trade involving Cousins could redefine the division and give the Falcons that extra edge they need to make a real Super Bowl push. It's the kind of move that could energize the fan base, excite the locker room, and send a message to the rest of the league that Atlanta is serious about competing at the highest level. So stay tuned, keep following all the latest updates, because we're in for one of the most exciting NFL seasons in recent memory, and Atlanta Falcons fans, you're at the heart of it all. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe that acquiring Cousins would be the right move for Atlanta? Or do you think they should stick with their current roster and develop their young quarterbacks? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep that Falcons spirit alive.